Hello and welcome back again to episode 4, I believe, of Gut Reaction. We are joined by our lovely host, Brandon.
Hello.
And we have another fella called Will joining us today as well.
Hello.
As always, the same rules always apply. This is going to be mine and Will's initial reaction to the topic. That does not necessarily mean that we won't be engaging with the topic. It just means that it's our first reaction to what's being said to us. Anyway, take it away, Brandon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gut Reaction podcast. My name is Brandon Norbury. I'm your host once again this evening. And last time we talked about the film industry when I was hosting. And if you haven't already seen that episode, it is available on YouTube and I believe Spotify as well. William, is that true?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay, and on Spotify as well. We're in the big leagues now.
Yeah, the links are on my profile.
Yeah, and today we are going to be talking about Shakespeare. Now, Shakespeare, as an actor, I have a very fond love for Shakespeare. He has traumatized me in the past with some of his monologues, but I have enjoyed it nonetheless. And now I will open with the opening question. Is William Shakespeare the greatest playwright of all time?
No.
Who would like to kick us off?
I don't think he is.
Blasphemous.
Maybe he's the greatest playwright of I nearly said our generation, but we're talking quite a few generations ago. I think he's the greatest playwright of the modern era. I'd probably say someone like Socrates or someone like that is probably the greatest playwright because they started the whole thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Blasphemous. You blaspheme. No, I have to give my props to big boy Will Shakespeare. He is the golden child. He is the best, hands down. Always has been, always will be. Big up Will Shakespeare.
Nah.
Okay. All right. Well, yes, many consider William Shakespeare to be the quote-unquote GOAT, as the youth are calling the greatest of all time nowadays, of English literature, and a strong case can be made for this title. His plays and sonnets are still studied and performed and adapted globally, and his works have significantly impacted the English language and storytelling. Now, do you believe that Shakespeare, with his influence on language, has changed how we view playwriting and how plays are written today?
I reckon.
Who would
yes.
like to kick that off?
I reckon yes. I mean, like, my guy, back when he was around, I think there was of cemented words, there was 20,000 completed words. He actively created I think it was another 5,000 words, or canonized another 5,000 words. And I think if we relate that to anyone else of that caliber, we just don't really find that, especially still existent in modern day renditions as Shakespeare is.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, yeah, he has had quite a strong influence on plays and our language. But a lot of the words he created were already existing words that he gave another meaning to. Like, he came up with the word assassination to mean killing someone famous, essentially. But the word assassin already existed, so he made another word from an already existing word. He didn't come up with an original sort of word.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, over the years, it has been documented that William Shakespeare, with all his plays and sonnets, created over 600 new words. One of the funniest words that I read that apparently he created was the word door.
Okay.
I
Yes.
don't believe that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if maybe they just called door the rear passageway or something like that, or something oldie English wise. Okay, and then
The
I just
rear
had to get that. I
passageway.
just had to take that joke in there.
Oh, you crazy man.
Mm.
Yeah, no. A lot of people back in the oldie English times would go through the back door. Okay, now moving on.
Ah, Brendan.
Okay, moving on. Now, over the years, with his plays, Shakespeare has created timeless characters that are still performed and still adapted till this day. His characters like Hamlet and Macbeth and Lady Macbeth are complex and relatable, exploring universal themes of love, loss, ambition, and betrayal. With those characters being created, do you think those characters have been able to maintain their message over time within the plays?
Ooh.
Who would like to pick us off?
I believe we're also joined by John as well.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hello there.
Anyways, I think if we're talking about if we're discussing Shakespeare itself, in relation to Macbeth and Lady Macbeth and betrayal, I'm pretty sure if I've got the whole question correct. Then I believe that ultimately, if we're discussing betrayal, the encouragement to betray, I think, is massively relevant, which Lady Macbeth done, which I think is also mirrored in a lot of renditions of what was seen as the evil woman at the time period as well. So you had a lot of plays and novels and books that came out very similar to some of Shakespeare's works, or even later, like Arden of Faversham, where the woman was the one who encourages the man to betray or the man to do evil deeds. So it's not necessarily that the man themselves would do stuff, but the woman would encourage them. So I think that the betrayal, it kind of changes between the characters. So Lady Macbeth's betrayal, it's betraying the vow to. I think I think there is like an intention to betterment each other within a marriage, and it's betraying that in her pursuit of her own power, which also is supplanted onto Shakespeare's power. Macbeth's power as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, because I think with betrayal as well, it can be varied, especially with how in Othello, Iago is a man betraying another man, so it does vary.
Yeah, it does vary.
Yeah,
Could I have the question? Could I have the question again? I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So with characters that he has created over the years, like Hamlet, Macbeth, and Lady Macbeth, that are complex and relatable, exploring the themes of love, loss, ambition, and betrayal, do you think those characters have been able to uphold the message in the plays to this day?
I'd say so. A lot of it is quite universal stuff. Like with the Macbeth example, it's his hubris, like, and the whole prophecy thing that is his downfall. It's just his Lady Macbeth pushes him along the way a bit more. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think the message is really super lost. I think it's quite a universal message in a lot of his stuff.
Okay, and we'll move on to genre now. So people have believed to call Shakespeare a master of genre. Shakespeare excelled in various literary forms, from tragedies and comedies to histories and sonnets. Now, do you believe that Shakespeare should be donned the title a master of genre, or do you believe his plays and sonnets limited him to exploring different genres?
I think you should get that, and the reason for that part of the reason for that is one of my lecturers at university believed that, and he studied Shakespeare in depth, and I did as well as a result of him. And he created the form of tragic comedy, which was kind of explored just before him, but he kind of cemented it as a actual genre. And I think when we discuss Shakespeare and we discuss his genre, we sometimes forget that he wasn't around during the Greek times. He wasn't around during the Roman times. He wasn't around now. He was kind of that bridge within the Middle England period, to basically tie us into a new world of stage and theatre craft, with the way how he was very, very crude in a lot of what he said. You know, he literally had actors essentially swearing on stage, and these performances were meant for nobles at the time, which I think is very important when we're discussing Shakespeare. He wasn't a high-class individual, and his plays showed that, and the genre itself showed that as well. You know, some of the characters he showed are so satirical, it's hilarious. You know, some of it is just astronomical, and that's his mastery of the comedy aspect of his genre work. He just mastered it.
I would also agree with Will in that he is a master of genre. He was very good at what I'd say is sort of like the basics of genre. Like today we've got all of these subgenres of our films and TV and theatre and everything, but in his time he mastered the main elements of theatre genre at that time, which is of course the tragedies and the comedies and the sonnets and the historical plays. And I think he was very good at having a broad range of work.
John, would you like to comment?
I'm I'm not sure what to add here that has already been said. Like, did we like move on to like another question, like from like the first one?
We moved on to do you think that Shakespeare should be donned the title of a master of genre?
I'd say from what I have learned from him of him throughout like all my English courses that yes he is definitely a master of genre.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll be moving on to enduring popularity. Now, Shakespeare and his works continue to be performed and adapted over time, proving their timeless appeal and resonance with audiences across the centuries. Now, obviously, there's been adaptations into film, TV, not just on the stage, but also on the stage, they have adapted the plays so they're not just your old Shakespeare play, like how in Macbeth with Ralph Fiennes, they all dressed up in military uniform, and another film adaptation of Macbeth with Patrick Stewart where it was set during World War II. And then obviously Romeo and Juliet has been adapted over the years with Baz Luhrmann's adaptation, and also at the adaptation with musicals with West Side Story, how in West Side Story it is told in the form of a different story, but it is Romeo and Juliet. Do you think this is a positive way to get more people into enjoying and watching Shakespeare with the different adaptations of Shakespeare's work?
I'd say it's a very effective way of doing it because when you learn it in school, you don't even like watch it. You're reading it out of a book, and it doesn't make any sense to you as a high school kid reading all these like thous and these and all that, and it's not something you're familiar with. But you're just reading it off a page. It's not like you're seeing it like performed dramatically. So I think adaptations like that, like the ones you've mentioned, really help bring it into the present day, because we don't have to fuss about of all this iambic pentameter and everything.
William?
Yep. I think that
Okay.
it's a useful way to allow people to engage. But I think the difficulty comes about with when we're discussing Shakespeare, one of the main reasons why he's still in the literary canon to this day is because of the way the way he actually wrote things and how he actually structured things impacted the wider world. Everything from the rhythm of Banquo all the way to his sonnets. It's how he wrote and how he explored the world in writing that gave him such a prestigious name. And I think when we're discussing these adaptations, I think that they're amazing to allow people to have an initial reaction to Shakespeare. But I think that in doing so, sometimes your first reaction to Shakespeare is actually a little bit muted. It's not the same because you're beholden to someone else's rendition of what they believe Shakespeare rendition entailed, which I think is quite important to keep in mind.
Okay, John?
I feel like I'm definitely in agreement with Will there in the fact that while, yes, like having like different like modern iterations of these classic pieces of literature and plays be made so that like a lot of like audience from these days, like from a lot of audience, well, you know, quote modern audience, like gets like, you know, drawn in, like it's important. So that's a great way to keep the legacy alive, but it's also, yeah, just a thing that needs to be constantly said that these are not the original version, and they will never be the original version, because the original version was created in a different like time that, in truth, as much as we may try our hardest to replicate and imagine what it was like, even with what we have to go off historically, it's never really going to be we're never going to get that same effect. That same effect is never truly going to be replicated because of the impact that they had at that time and how provocative they were in the time of kings and queens, so to speak.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That was very insightful. Okay, we'll be moving on to the impact on storytelling. So Shakespeare's influence on storytelling is profound, with many modern narratives drawing inspiration from his plots and characters. Now, as a storyteller, do you believe that Shakespeare told many great stories that have potentially actually linked to modern day affairs, or even prove real things within our society true? Who would like to start that off?
I think if we're talking about hubris, that's I think hubris is one that is quite well explored in Macbeth. And we see how hubris starts small, but it's like a cascade of events. You have a small thing and it builds and it builds and it builds. But I think you kind of see that in some people today. Specifically when people get to a certain point of fame or wealth, it seems to be quite common that they stop seeing the reason to be cautious. So, like Macbeth at the very beginning, he just doesn't really want to do the killing of the king. You know, he's cautious about it. He's worried about it all. But then as time goes on, eventually he's just like, I'm kind of already here then, aren't I? There's no way around it. So I think hubris is more to do with arrogance, and arrogance is much easier to gain in modern day, at least to the extent that we see it commonly. Obviously not always, but it's more common to see it at a higher level.
Will?
I'd probably agree with William there, with the whole hubris stuff. I don't really. I've not read loads of Shakespeare's stuff, so I'm not super familiar with the themes in his other plays.
For shame, shame. How
I
dare
imagine
you?
I imagine the historical ones are less about themes and more about, oh, this is what happened in our history, guys. This is what happened. Whilst his dramas and
super theme based.
are his historical plays really that theme based?
Macbeth is a historical play.
No, it isn't.
It is.
It's not. It's not a very accurate one.
No, it's
not. Okay. Calm it down.
But yeah, other than his
This isn't Shakespeare Fight Club.
Shakespeare Fight Club. That's what this podcast should have been called.
Oh, that is so funny. We'd have like,
that's what the episode's called, guys. It's Shakespeare Fight Club.
That will be the rebrand if the other Gut Reaction podcast file for copyright.
Yeah, to be honest with you, probably.
Oh god!
But yeah, we'd have those like those little 90s kids toys which used to the boxing toys.
Yeah, the Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yes.
I think I said all I wanted to say, to be honest, so we can carry on.
Jonathan?
Are you calling me Jonathan?
Yes.
There's no one else with any name beginning with J. Here.
Well, pardon me, but it's just John.
Oh, okay, John.
John Quinius.
See, it just says John on his birth certificate. It doesn't say Jonathan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's all good, John Quillian.
Yeah.
John Quinius.
Yeah. John, any thoughts on the question?
I'm so sorry that that I keep like asking like what the questions are. Like I struggle to like I'm just
No, it's completely fine. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so do you believe that Shakespeare's impact on storytelling has had an influence in modern day and has told the truth about some of the issues or themes within our society today?
Without a bloody doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
That is a statement and a half, without a bloody doubt.
Oh, okay, are you going to elaborate on that, or are you just leaving it as without a bloody doubt?
Oh, God. Oh, damn it. I'm gonna be honest. I feel kind of, I really do feel like I'm kind of like half-assing it compared to you guys, but you're going all in depth, and I just say like a 5-second answer or something like.
No. It's okay. It's okay,
but...
John.
I mean,
It's okay, John. It's okay, John, mate. Every point and every statement made is valid within the confines of the
I'm just
podcast. No
blagging for
worries.
the most part. So, like you're not alone. I'm kind of just blagging for most of it, stalling until I can think of something more insightful to say.
This whole
That's
podcast is
okay.
based around your first reaction to stuff anyway. It's not about
Yeah.
anything. This is your first reaction to what's being brought up. So tell us, why do you think Shakespeare is still important to modern day, John? Give us as much as you can. Just milk your mind dry. Come on.
Pardon me. Are you the host, William?
It's my bloody podcast. Sorry, I'll stop now.
It's okay. You can answer William's question, John.
Okay. Well, just like any bit of like, so even though, so this is like relates to what I said before, like even though like as time like goes on, you'll never truly be able to replicate what was like made in the past, just because of the different like attitudes of like the eras that pass by, and all that. It's never truly going to be the same. But what does remain the same a lot of the time is rather the fundamental, like the fundamental like well, there's a like, I guess, like humanity that like basically motivated said classic literature, like the the thoughts and feelings, the politics and beliefs, all that stuff, and those are just all things that, no matter the era, like endure throughout history.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now there obviously is the debate of the greatest of all time within playwrights, where others, maybe there is one greatest of all time, but there are others that are considered literary giants that have an impact on literature and culture which is undeniable till this day. William Shakespeare is widely regarded as the greatest playwright of all time. I actually went on the Google.
The Google.
Yeah, and there was a list of the greatest playwrights of all time, and I will list them off for you, and you can see whether you agree with the ranking or disagree with the ranking. How does that sound, guys?
Go for
All
it.
right. Is this from shakespearefanclub.co.uk?
No, this is just from what Google has told me.
Oh.
Which
Okay,
AI
so
tool did it use?
So number 1, we have William Shakespeare.
Whoa.
Number 2, we have Sophocles. Number 3, we have Henrik Ibsen.
Who?
Number 4, we have Anton Chekhov. Number 5, we have Samuel Beckett. Number 6, we have Arthur Miller. Number 7, we have Tennessee Williams. Number 8, we have Eugene O'Neill. Number 9, we have Oscar Wilde. And number 10, we have Albert Camus, which I didn't know that he wrote plays, but apparently he does. And that was the top 10 playwrights of all time. So what do you think of that ranking? Do you agree, disagree?
Who even was the third guy?
Henrik Ibsen.
I've never heard of him.
He's apparently.
You've never heard of Ibsen?
You've heard of him, John? Who is he?
Yes. Name, but I actually remember what he did. I just know that
Hold on.
What did he do that was deserving of number 3 on Google's top 10 playwrights?
Okay, so Henrik Ibsen was a Norwegian playwright. He wrote a famous play called A Doll's House. He wrote Hedda Gabler.
Oh, I.
Oh
And-
yeah.
Wow, okay.
And he also wrote a play called Ghosts, which is highly regarded as well.
Does that put him at number 3 though?
How would you re-rank it?
I would
How would
rank him maybe a solid 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how about some of the other names on there, like Chekhov, Beckett, Miller, all those kind of playwrights?
I feel like everyone else is in a good sort of spot. I think Chekhov. Where was Chekhov?
Chekhov was number 4.
Yeah. See, if we moved whatever his name was, the Norwegian guy, down a bit,
Yeah,
Chekhov would be number 3, and that's where Chekhov should be.
yeah. How do you feel that William Shakespeare is above Sophocles?
I'm happy with that.
I disagree. Sophocles number 1.
It's Battle of the Worlds.
I called him Socrates before, but let's just hope nobody noticed that.
Don't worry, it's just recorded for everyone to hear whenever they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say a surprising
Everyone
one.
would know I got the Greek politician Socrates confused with the Greek playwright Sophocles.
Yeah. Now, I was very surprised that Oscar Wilde was ranked at number 9. And me and you, Will, were in The Importance of Being Earnest together.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about Oscar Wilde just being at number 9? Do you feel like he should be higher?
I think I need like a where did you just Googled this list? I'm gonna find it because I kind of need to just.
It came up.
I've got a different one.
It came up with the list on the Google Assistant thing.
Okay, I'm gonna go on AI mode and let's see what Gemini thinks.
Let's go AI. Let's go. Let's
Okay,
go AI. Let's go.
For mine, it's put Sophocles at 3rd and Chekhov at 2nd, so I think it's kind of random. This.
Yeah.
All I'm hearing is William Shakespeare is still first.
AI.
George Bernard Shaw has made it onto the list as well on this one, and Molière.
Molière.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really that into this fucking.
Into what?
It's okay.
I'm not too thrilled about this big old question about is he the greatest time? Well, I don't know.
He doesn't want to watch Mojo's top 10 playwrights of all time.
Goodness
Watch
me.
Mojo's top 10 gut reaction moments. I don't really care about this moment. don't really care about
This would be an honourable mention.
I stopped caring about like top 10 lists a long time ago.
Well,
I find them kind of meaningless oftentimes, to be honest.
But if you do think about it, the number 10 is a psychologically satisfying number. That's why a lot of people have a lot of interest in top 10 lists.
I know that, but my opinion still stands that I find it quite pointless a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Rather trite.
So do you believe there shouldn't be a ranking on who's had a bigger impact within playwriting?
Well, okay. So for something like that, fine. That's a more reasonable one, I guess. But I just still find the concept of like, oh, top 10 something quite trite overall.
That's okay. That's very valid, John. Thank you. What were you gonna say, Will?
Sorry for
I-
interrupting. I just wanted to
I
get my thoughts
saw
in
it.
because it was plaguing my mind.
That's okay, friend.
I was gonna say something like, I think we've all been tricked by, well, when we were younger at least, by the YouTube algorithm into liking top 10 videos. It's very unrelated to the question, but I thought I'd just bring it up. That we probably only watched them because we were recommended them,
Also, we've
and
also
at least
got
I know
10
that's what
fingers.
happened to me.
We've got 10 fingers.
We've got 10 fingers, yes, indeed, and 10 toes.
Indeed.
20.
It's 10.
Yeah, where's the top 20 lists?
There are top 20 lists. It's
Yeah,
not
why
down
aren't they
top
as
20.
prevalent?
Because people don't. A lot of people have an aversion to feet for some reason.
Are you a feet
Reasonable.
person? Is that what you're implying with that saying, Will?
No, just I know some people get like really scared at the sight of feet.
I see.
Like-
Gentlemen, please, we can discuss your fetishes in the next podcast.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Got reaction, not episode 5. Feet.
Oh!
No, thank
Just the
you.
picture's
Okay,
just a picture
we
of a
will
cracked
we will
Oh!
we will swiftly move back to the topic.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, please. Ah!
He's been attacked by a spider.
He's been attacked by a foot.
This is just deriving into chaos now.
I apologise.
It's okay. It's okay.
I will answer your question anyway. Your question was on about the top 10 ranking. I think Oscar Wilde being on the top 10 is very much deserved because 3 of us on this call was part of the Importance of Being Earnest stuff, and that was really fun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, plug Almost Famous Theatre. You can go.
Plug.
Hashtag
Yeah,
almost famous.
you
theatre
can go
company.
watch the full production of our version of The Importance of Being Earnest on the Almost Famous Theatre YouTube channel. Shout
I
out
still
to.
haven't seen it yet.
Shout out.
You still
Well,
haven't seen it. I love the
bit
I love
on
the
that,
part
Will.
where I'm on it. In, in April.
Have you not finished your tea yet?
Goodness.
Oh, why?
I don't have any tea.
You need to hop on. You need to hop on that, Will, and you call
Yeah.
yourself an actor.
I know.
How dare you?
I don't know. It's just I don't know if I'll have time to sit down and watch 2.5 hours of Oscar Wilde.
Get some popcorn, man. Get some drinks. You know, make a movie night out of
Oh my god. Ah, delayed attack.
My muffins. My muffins, Jack.
it. My muffins, yeah. Eat some muffins with it.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. And now,
I am the conqueror of crabs. Ugh.
okay, we'll move on. We'll move on to the next question very swiftly now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So William Shakespeare over the years has been highly regarded for his comedies and his tragedies, but here is the main question: do you believe that he limited himself by only doing comedies and tragedies, or do you think the way he wrote plays was perfect?
I'm gonna let someone else answer first.
I think
Okay.
I think the thing is with his plays is we will only ever compare them to like contemporary plays because we don't have many examples of plays by other playwrights from his time. So there's not a lot of comparison to other people's work that was made around the same time that would be in the same sort of style to what we might have now for different kinds of theatre. So I think to bring it to the modern day, I don't think his style really works that well. But of his time, I think it worked pretty well. I mean, I don't know if he really could have expanded his genre, like his genre as much further than he did, because the theatre sort of space wasn't very broad. Like they didn't have a lot of stories to work off of, and they couldn't be as experimental as we can be today with our technology and everything.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to to comment?
Well, I think that you can't be perfect. I think as much as we like to strive towards perfection, it's not possible. Just frankly isn't possible. And so, when we're discussing was his stuff perfect, no, but I would argue it's pretty damn good either way. Like, really phenomenal stuff. And it's the type he's produced work that people envy to this day, and I think that's if you ask me, is phenomenal. So when we're discussing about whether or not his work was perfect, I don't think it ever could be, but it was damn near close.
John?
Yeah.
John?
Oh, yeah, I'd say, sorry, I'd say that I'd say in a similar vein that they were brilliant, especially for their time and how they endure the ages, but definitely not perfect, because like what Will said, we can strive as much as we want for it, and it should be something that we continue to strive for, but we also need to recognize that it's not feasible to reach the absolute point of perfection, because many things, including us, are fundamentally flawed. And having flaws gives a lot more purpose.
Agreed.
And it makes the greater parts even greater.
Indeed. Okay, thank you very much, John. Okay, now, here's where it gets interesting, gentlemen.
Ooh.
We are moving
then,
on.
fellow gentlemen.
The next two things are theories about Shakespeare, and
theories.
I would like your comments and your beliefs on if these theories potentially are true.
Okay.
Now, as William Shakespeare was a prominent and great Elizabethan playwright, there was also another one by the name of Christopher Marlowe.
Marlowe.
And while their exact relationship is debated, there's evidence suggesting they collaborated and influenced each other. The New Oxford Shakespeare Notability credits Marlowe as a co-author of Shakespeare's Henry VIII plays. Well, Henry VI plays. Eighth wasn't around. I can't read Roman numerals that well.
So good.
Some theories even propose that Marlowe as the primary author of Shakespeare's works, or that they were the same person, but they are considered fringe viewpoints. So they believe that potentially Christopher Marlowe was an alter ego of Shakespeare, and he actually wasn't a real person.
Interesting.
Now,
why would he do that, though?
Now, do you believe that Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare were the same person, or do you think they were both opposing Elizabethan playwrights?
I think they probably both existed. I don't see why Shakespeare would just make up another person to co-author his own plays.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another theory. Many people believed that there was actually on an American TV station called TNT over in the US. They made a Shakespeare period drama TV series called Will, and that was exploring William Shakespeare's romantic affairs and sexuality. Now, many people believe that William Shakespeare was potentially bisexual or bicurious because of one of his sonnets that he wrote about his mistress, where he described his mistress very masculine. Now, do you believe that William Shakespeare at this period in time was very open with his sexuality, even though times were different back then, or do you think he kept it hidden and potentially told it through his plays with how very like mythical or very kind of story centered they were?
Which sonnet was it?
It was the one where I can't remember the number, but the sonnet was like describing like wiry hair and like horse teeth and all this different stuff.
How do we know Shakespeare just wasn't into like tomboys? Because that's another explanation. Like he just had a buff mistress,
Mm-hmm.
and he was really into that for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and a further question: do you believe that William Shakespeare's plays, even before the modern day, showed a lot of diversity? And do you believe that William Shakespeare's have given actors and directors the open door to bring more diversity within the 21st century?
That's a very complex question. I shall begin by saying, at the time that a lot of his plays were going about, you had a lot of seemingly religious plays, and you had plays like the Renegado coming about, where a lot of it was about religious domination and kind of exporting your culture upon other places, or making someone subvert to British values. And I think the fact how, in the nature of what Shakespeare wanted to discuss, the fact how he wanted to comment on nobles, how he wanted to comment on how the kings were acting, how he wanted to comment on how basically people were acting without getting killed for it, he had to just discuss things through diversity. And he did that by utilising different areas in the world, from Venice to Rome to I think he did where was it now? It was Amsterdam, I believe. And he did
Yeah. He did also do Greece as well.
Yeah, like so, and he did all these places, and within Othello, obviously Othello's black, and that was like a big thing. Like, but when we try and envision how we would see how it's played, a lot of the time it would have been someone doing blackface. It wouldn't have necessarily been an actual black man playing Othello. So I think he generated some steps that were available for modern renditions to step in and cast appropriate individuals. But I think that a lot of things that some directors are doing today were not even in his realm of thinking was possible for the time, if that makes sense. So I think that we forget he's from hundreds of years ago, and yet he still did loads of things that some places still struggle to do nowadays. So I think it's quite interesting. So I think he has made a lot of ability for directors to incorporate diversity, even in the fact how women can play in his plays, because he wrote really good female characters that women want to play. Yeah.
It's just women weren't allowed to play them when he put them on.
Yeah.
As well. But yeah, I think touching on what Will said, it's way beyond what today, like our society today is well beyond what he could have possibly imagined in terms of that sort of diversity and inclusion and everything. and it's like he's not rolling in his grave over it. I'm sure, because I'm sure he doesn't really. He was an artist. He wants other people to improve upon his work. I'm sure. So it's like, if he was here, would he be annoyed? I don't think so. He probably didn't even realize that his plays would have made it to the 21st century. I don't think. Like I think if he was here today, like if he was brought back from the dead today, I think he would be quite happy that his plays still exist at all. And are still regularly performed. Because you think about Chris, whatever his name was, I've never watched any of his plays, have I?
He only released 6 plays, Christopher Marlowe.
Exactly. I haven't seen any of them, and I don't know about you three either.
He's quite a good playwright, to be honest with you. He's done some really cool stuff. But like you said before, it'd be really weird for Shakespeare to have made another person just to then take credit.
Yeah, no, that was the theory, yes.
Like, one of the reasons why people love Shakespeare so much is because of how many plays he wrote. If it gets found out that he not only wrote so many plays, but he actively made other people, like, fake identities to write more, I don't think the literary world would survive it.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. He might have cast Christopher Marlowe to play William Shakespeare in the movie adaptation of William Shakespeare's life, and it's just William Shakespeare.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, and then I will follow up with another question as well. Do you believe that if Shakespeare, say for example, he wasn't born in that time period, he was born within our century, and he was a playwright living and breathing in the world today, do you think his plays would like hold up within the 21st century? And do you think they would have had the same impact within the 21st century they did all those years ago?
I would say they wouldn't have the same impact, but I think they would probably stand out for their uniqueness, because a lot of modern plays don't use the sort of rhyming pattern to the dialogue that iambic pentameter uses. So it would be valued on its uniqueness of the time, of like today, and also but I don't feel like it would have the same impact, because there's been 1,000 other plays that follow the same sort of themes in the modern era.
I agree. I think, but I would say it's the dream of every orator to be half as good as Shakespeare. And I think when we look at his stuff, like you said, just the sheer masterpiece of how he crafted the sentence structure and how the words bounce off the page and how they bounce in the syllables in your head. It such brings it back to the story culture that must have still existed back then, where it was a lot of people couldn't read and write, and most people were learning about the world through stories, and it just harks back to then and for thousands of years how it's just storytelling culture, where it's to remember it's got to rhyme, and to rhyme you've got to have it in this format. It harks back to then. So I think that if it came out now, he would probably be highly praised for being able to do that to such a high standard. But I think also a lot of people would try and discredit him, because a lot of people would be jealous of him being able to do that.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi died. I'm back now, though. What did I miss?
Oh, okay. A quick Wi-Fi issue.
Yeah.
Disconnected. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. John?
Sorry. Well, I with what with what I know of him, yes, like I mostly agree that William Shakespeare definitely did like he definitely paved the way like forward with how he implemented what could be considered like at what was considered like at the time diversity to basically tell his stories. And yeah, if he it would definitely be very interesting to see what his reaction to the modern day what would have been. I guess it would have been interesting seeing like almost every single person's like reaction from that time, but with him I guess he would be a bit more, I guess, chilled out compared to others, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we genuinely don't know. It's just imagination at this point.
I think indoor plumbing would blow his mind.
It would do.
Indoor plumbing, you say?
Was he alive before or after the chimney was made? Because I know it was like I think it was like the 1200s or something.
Well, he was still he was still around when people had straw chimneys.
Straw chimneys.
Yeah, well,
Imagine if you took William Shakespeare to a gas stove, and you showed him, oh yeah, this is what we cook with.
He'd
I
probably
imagine
think it was
his reaction to
witchcraft.
that.
He probably would. He'd try and burn us on the stove.
And speaking of witchcraft, now obviously one of Shakespeare's most performed plays and greatest plays was Macbeth, an amazing piece of script that has been written today. But now, at the time when he wrote Macbeth, King James I was king, and King James I had obviously written a book called Demonology, which was about demons and witches and witchcraft and everything like that. Do you think that King James's book had a big influence on what Macbeth wrote, or King James's thoughts had a big influence on what Shakespeare wrote in Macbeth, or do you think Shakespeare wrote it to portray what King James was thinking at the time?
I'd say, to my knowledge, Macbeth was written for King James, because he's this big new king from Scotland, and the English people aren't too certain about him. So they go. So William Shakespeare. So he commissioned. James is like, write a play for me to celebrate me becoming king. And the whole thing is that Banquo's descendants become the kings of Scotland and eventually become, and King James is one of them. That's what like the idea is. So the whole King James probably had quite a big say in the play, and I wouldn't be surprised if his demonology malarkey came up in conversation. It was like, oh, can you put witches in it? I want witches in my play.
Okay,
And
yeah.
William Shakespeare's like, yes, Your Grace, I'll do that, Your Grace. Like, he didn't have a choice; he had to put it in.
Mm-hmm. William?
I think that it was massively influenced by James, but it was also influenced by the circumstances of James's ascension. So, obviously, I think, was it Elizabeth that was before him?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Elizabeth I, yes.
Yeah. So they kind of went around the rules of succession, and when they did that, it kind of showed that the rules of succession in England is a bit more flexible than they thought. And at that point, he was like, my biggest concern isn't the fact how I've now got to rule. It's the fact how an entire country of people, half of the lords who descended from Frenchmen who decided to just take over the country a couple hundred years before, are now vying for the throne that I now kind of own. And I think that's quite interesting because his whole thing, specifically at the start of his reign when Shakespeare wrote Macbeth, his whole thing is paranoia about people wanting to usurp him or kill him. And so the fact how Shakespeare then designed Macbeth in a way to then go, hang on a second, it's not a good idea to kill your monarch. Here's why. Because it will lead to this. You will get killed. And I think that's quite interesting. And like how Will said, it relates to James's history, James's ancestry, and it's kind of very, very much influenced by James I's viewpoints and fears, along with how his court probably was acting at the time as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of the ancestry is probably completely made up because very little of Macbeth is... I think Macbeth is only real characters, like real people. The events are not real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Macbeth himself was apparently a really good regent in historical fact. Not in Macbeth the play, Macbeth the reality.
No.
Good.
No.
Yeah.
Good regent.
Yeah. John? Thoughts?
Repeat the question again, please.
So obviously Macbeth was one of a really great influential play, and has had a big effect on how it's been done over and over again, nearly over I think recently they had an anniversary for how many years it had been around. But anyway, King James obviously was around, and he wrote a book called Demonology, which is about demons, witches, and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that King James had a big influence on Shakespeare writing that, or do you think Shakespeare wrote it to kind of show what his beliefs were?
I definitely believe that Macbeth was influenced very much so by what the king had to write about. Yeah, I believe it. I do definitely believe it's the former.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, I just had a brain fart moment, and I kept thinking to myself, how would Shakespeare react to the FNAF law?
Why?
I don't know. I feel like he'd write a good FNAF play.
Would he be like? Would he special guest star in a game theory video to explain
that would be
stories?
legendary.
Damn it!
Yeah, no, it would be like Frederick Fazbear. No, that was just like the most random thing. I wonder how. Yeah, I will bring this question up. How do you feel like Shakespeare would react in the modern day to how plays have evolved in different styles and film and television with different reenacting? Who would like to kick that off?
What's his name now? I'm trying to remember one specific playwright. He's the guy who did the not the Wasteland. It was you guys are drama students who had Sylvie. You should know. That he's Beckett. He would hate Beckett.
Samuel Beckett.
He would hate Samuel Beckett. His plays are so crazy. Just mind-boggling.
You don't think he'd like Waiting for Godot?
I think
I think Shakespeare would hate Waiting for Godot.
yeah, it's not got enough raunchiness for him.
There's not enough content in Waiting for Godot for Shakespeare, I don't think.
Yeah.
Mhm. But how do you think he'd react to media?
I think he would struggle to write for the screen because it's a completely different style, because naturalism didn't even exist when he was writing plays. And screen acting is all naturalism. So it's like you have to be completely genuine. It has to be completely real acting. And Shakespeare's wasn't really, he wasn't really all about that, because there's a lot of monologues. There's a lot of there's the pace to the dialogue. I don't want to say iambic pentameter again, because I've said it about 5 times today already. But it's like, the rhythm of his dialogue would be completely lost in screen acting, I believe.
Will?
I think that he wouldn't do well in writing for the screen, but I think he would dominate the theatre scene. He would absolutely just clean house. And I think that you would basically have him in his plays in the Lowry constantly, as if they already aren't. But he would just probably have like a permanent residence in London, that he just has his plays constantly, and they would just be his private house. I think that just because of the amount of high quality stuff he would do, but I also think that he would use different stories. I don't think he would go for the same things. I think he would talk about different political issues, and I think he would use the tools available in different ways, because the things that are politically charged now are not what was politically charged then, and he was very big on talking about politics back then. Everything from criticising religion all the way to criticising how women are seen. It was like a very consistent part of a lot of what he did. So yeah, I think he would be very different to how he was, just because the stuff he would be criticising would be different.
John?
Sorry, I'm struggling a bit here.
That's okay. It's basically, how do you think Shakespeare would react to media in the 21st century?
Well, kind of.
Do you think he would survive if he was around and he wrote for screen?
For screen, he'd probably not do. He'd probably not do the best, but it's like Will said, theater was his specialty. He influenced a vast majority of, especially European theater. So yes, without a doubt, he would absolutely dominate the theater scene. It's because his whole thing was that, compared to everyone else, he was one of the ballsiest in how he actually spoke up against what were considered the norms of that time. He criticized the church. He criticized how women were seen. He criticized royalty. So yeah, I'm all aboard that, imagined scenario, in that even though he would definitely probably be taken aback a bit. He'd probably he'd probably catch on like in no time, and he'd just clean house in terms of just writing screenplays that are just incomparable to anything else.
Okay, and now we will round it off again. We're coming to the end now. I'll round it off with the final question, which was the first question, but after what we've discussed, to see if we all have a different opinion or anything like that. Do you agree or disagree that William Shakespeare is the greatest playwright of all time?
Endlessly
Who would like to start?
agree.
Disagree.
I disagree.
Okay.
Boo.
And so William has said is one for agree. Will and John, I'll ask Will first. Who would you say is the greatest of all time if it's not Shakespeare?
Sophocles.
Sophocles. Okay, that is
Not
a good playwright.
Socrates. Sophocles.
Sophocles, not Socrates. And John, if you disagree that Shakespeare isn't the greatest of all time, who would you say is the greatest playwright of all time?
Honestly, I simply don't know. In fact, I'd even go as just as far as to say that saying like the greatest of all time and trying to debate over who is and who isn't. I feel like that's much more honestly, I feel like that's much more like I feel
It's
like that's
it's a very open debate.
Yeah, yes, it's open, but I also genuinely feel like it's a lot more wasteful compared to if we were to just appreciate each and every big playwright for all the different things that they do differently. How impactful they were for their selective eras, and just how well they did their own works.
Okay. All right. Well said. Okay, and that will be the end of the episode of the newly named podcast Shakespeare's Fight Club.
No, it's not newly named. It's not newly named.
Okay, the Gut Reaction podcast. This is the end of episode 4. I want to thank my lovely guests, Will, and John, for joining us.
WWJ.
New gospel.
Yeah, WWJ. And thank you all for joining. And I will quote one more line before we go, as I need the loo. To we or not to we, that is the question. And now I will bid you adieu, fair mortals, and thank you very much.
So just before everyone heads off and closes their laptops and everything, it would be much appreciated if you can do the equivalent of liking and following. It'd be very much appreciated because a lot of time and effort goes into these things, from the hosts to the guests, and everyone putting in lots of effort, and obviously people putting in effort to share it with their friends and trying to make sure people can actually see this stuff as well. Because the biggest way how people find a podcast nowadays is being told about it. So if you have enjoyed, please share it, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Yes, and one more thing before we head off, I would like to say mental health is a big thing within our society, and it's a very thing that I hold dear. And I myself have gone through mental health struggles. Now, if you are looking for help, there are a lot of services that can provide help for different types of mental health. And I would suggest also, as well as it did for me, is talk to your friends, your family, everyone that you hold near and dear. And trust me, there will be dark days, but things will be brought into the light. And if you even if you want to listen to a podcast or music, our podcast is always here for people who are having a rough day and you want to have a laugh or to hear some insightful information. We are always here for you. So the Gut Reaction podcast is here for everyone, and we hope everyone is having a good day and a good night, and we all love you. And again, to we or not to we, that is the question. and thank you again, everyone, for tuning in, and this will be the end of our episode. So thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.